Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Pat's Stamping Place and Monday, July 11th. And this is live on YouTube. So I'm not sure if anybody's going to find me over here. Usually everybody's on Facebook and a few on YouTube, but I had a little technical difficulty today getting the Facebook to connect with the live stream. So I'm here, and if you're on Facebook, hope you find me over here or catch the replay later. So I'm just going to chat for about 1 minute and see if anybody does find me here, and then I will get started. Sometimes we just don't have anything to do with technology, and fortunately, I got it figured out about a half an hour ago. And it says it was connected but it wouldn't connect. So anyway, that's techie stuff. And just want to know if you are here, where you're from, and if this is your first time. Hi, Holly, you found me. Thank you. That's good to know. If this is your first time, let me know where you're from. And let's see, I'm looking for another button that I need to push. So I think we're good to go. All right. Okay, so I'm just keep looking here. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today's live is based on a question that I had last week from a customer who's usually on here. I know she sometimes catches the replay. So it was my friend Rose who asked about doing a mirrored image. How do you make something that is designed to go one direction also go in the other direction? And so that's what I decided to focus on. I like to please people with what they ask for and also teach as well. That's what I love to do. Welcome, Carol. Let's see. You found me. Good. I wasn't sure if everything was working. So the stamp set that I'm going to use is called Perched in a Tree. And it is on page 46 of our new January, goodness sakes, we're gone. No, this goes to July, December mini catalog. And it is what I would consider a stamp set that could be used all year. It is good for Christmas because it does say, "Let heaven and nature sing," with the bird. But it also has some sentiments that would be good for any time of the year. And we know that birds are good too. So, hello, Nancy, listening in the car. So, welcome. So this is a bundle, and it's $53. So if you choose this bundle, you could get something free from Celebration. Celebration is our second this year, from July 1st through the end of August. So you could choose any item out of here. Some are $50 with a $50 purchase, and some are with a $100 purchase. For example, this one with the hippos, you could just get the stamp set. But if you really want to enhance it, you could add the hippo dies to it too. So the two of those together are $50 or $100, but you don't have to get both of them, if you follow my drift on that. And then the Rings of Love, I did use that last week. It's lovely, lovely designer paper. And we have some Pool Party and Soft Seafoam cards and envelopes that are awesome. They go with so many things. And Stylish Sketches, that's one I don't have yet. And the Silver and Gold Designer Series paper. I may show this next week because I did have a card handy, and then I decided to go with this mirrored image. Amazing phrasing. The Tree Lots dies, lots of dies there. If you're a camper, you're going to love that one because it's got dies, a dog, oh goodness, trees. It's got lots of different things. And then another $100 one is the Wonderful World stamp set. The designer paper is incredible, and it goes with the Wonderful World stamp set. And if you are a host during this time, you can earn the Perfect Pomegranate stamp set with a $300 order, or if you just want to gather some friends together or put in your own order, you could earn that Perfect Pomegranate. So that's how Celebration works. Sue, you found me. Hello, welcome. So this is the die set that I'm going to use today, and the stamp set is bundled with that. And remember, with a bundle, it's 10% off. So there's our mini catalog. So let's get going. Now, if you have ever looked at an image, and this is what my friend Rose was talking about, you look at an image and it's only facing one direction. So this is going to go to the right, but you want it to go and face one another, like for fish, or I suppose any animal that's going in the right direction. You can make it mirrored. So how is the mirroring done? I don't believe I've ever shown this on a live. So let's get rid of my face and just go down strictly to my desktop and show you how easy this is to do. And that glare will go away as soon as I take this off of here. So I want these two birds to look at one another. And that's easy to do if you have the right tools. And by the way, the die set that goes with this is called Aspen Trees. So they don't even have the same name, Perched in a Tree or the Aspen Trees. Let me show you, I think I have it in here. All of the dies will fit with the mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss, except for this one. I can get rid of that too. And this is beautiful. I was playing around with doing some watercoloring and just die cut this, and that's what that looks like. It's awesome. But I'm not going to use that today. Just going to focus on the bird. So if you have a Stamparatus, and I'll get that glare off of there, or any stamp positioning tool, of course I prefer this one. I think it's awesome. It's amazing. Well worth the money if you don't have one. And a silicone craft mat, you can make the mirrored image so easy. Now, as far as the Stamparatus goes, it comes with this foam mat, and you only need this if you're using photopolymer stamps. This stamp set, Perched in a Tree, happens to be one of our cling stamps, and that means that the stamps, pull another one out here, has all the foam that you need to give cushion to get a good image. And so with photopolymer, you need this with the Stamparatus, and you can also use this if you're just using photopolymer without needing to use a stamp positioning tool. So that's the reason for that. So since this is a cling stamp, I'm going to take this off. I don't need it. And I put this bird image on here. It can go anywhere, but I put the bird image on here. Let's move it over so we can see everything. And I've got some paper cut so that I know it will go through the mini cut and emboss machine. Now, this is as close to magic as I would ever come, because this is truly magical in my mind. So I'm going to put this strip of paper here, and this is going to go over here. Now, if I wanted to just cut out a simple image, I would stamp that and cut it out. So I've already got this one done. going in that direction. But I want to have one that will come in this direction. And this is how you do it. So a line image seems to work a little bit better than a bold image. I was going to do the bird from the Sweet Songbird, but I wasn't getting a good crisp image like I would with this one, especially to show this technique. Perhaps it's something that I could play around with and show a little bit different at another time. But I want to focus on this technique, whether you use a bird or a fish or a deer, anything that you want to face one another on your project. So I'm going to use my Memento ink, and I'm using that because I'm going to color with our Stampin' Blends, and that's an alcohol marker, so we need the Memento ink to go with that. So let's get over here in camera range. So I need to stamp this on the paper just as though I would be cutting it out the regular way. Because keep in mind, the die is only going to go in one direction. Okay, now I didn't pick that up over there, but I'm not going to worry about that. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so this is going to get cut out anyway. Now here's the magic, here's the trick. I'm going to take this out. I'm not changing the bird image and the stamp at all, but I'm going to take this out and put a silicone mat, craft mat in here. You want to make sure that this is really clean with no other glue or any other ink on there, and that's easy to clean with one of our chamois. This one's semi-purple because I treated myself to a new chamois a while back, and it's starting to get dirty, but that's okay. You just reactivate it with lots of water and you're ready to clean your stamps and good to go. So you want to make sure that this is clean. And so now I'm going to take that same Memento ink pad and I'm going to stamp directly on the silicone mat. And one of the best reasons for having this stamp positioning tool is that this doesn't move, this doesn't move. You can keep stamping it as many times as you need to. And I'm not sure if you can see that too well, but it's there. But I am going to stamp it again just to make sure. The other thing is, this is not going to dry. This is going to stay wet enough so I can do what I need to do. Okay, now here's the magic. I'm going to put this right back in, and I'm being careful that I'm going to lay this right down on that stamped image so it's going from behind. Okay, I don't need to stamp this again, but let me grab a block here and add some pressure to that. And now when I show you this, there's an image on the back. Okay? So just as a refresher, I stamped it here, and then I stamped it here with this. Put the paper back down. I'm not going to actually put it back down there again. And got that image on the back. Now, the magic is, I'm now going to grab my mini cut and emboss machine. I'll put the Stamparatus away. And I need this original one here because that's the way the die is going to cut. Otherwise, I wouldn't know what I was doing. that out of the way there. So I'm putting this here. And the mini, I need a plate 1, a plate 2, my die, and notice that I offset this a little bit so that this beveled edge will catch when it goes through the machine. So I'm going to put that die over the original one in the direction that it was designed to go. And I've got a little piece of Post-it tape here to hold that down. And then put another plate 2 on top of that and run it through the machine. Now, watch this. I can peel that off. Here's the original, but when I turn it over, I now have the same image on the back thanks to the stamp positioning and the craft mat. So now I have 2, an original one. This is regular, this doesn't have anything on the back, and this one. Basically, we had this, but by putting that on the craft mat, I turn it over and now they can face each other. So if you have any questions, pop them in there. I'll try to answer that, and then we'll go on. Or if you just need to think about it a little bit. It just makes it very easy to do. So now I have these 2. They're going to say hello to each other or whatever it is they want to do. And thank you, Sue. I had not done this for a long, long time. And when Rose asked me about it last week, it just stayed in my mind, and thought, yep, we've got some stamp sets that this will work with. But look through your stash and see what you can come up with. But again, an animal is probably going to be the best thing to do. Now, you could do this also with just stamping instead of die cutting and punching. And if we don't run too long, I will show you how that can happen too. I think I've got an extra piece of paper. Because I do have most of this card ready to put together. So let's grab some Night of Navy. Yes, isn't that wonderful that we can watch replays? Oh my gosh. Replays are wonderful, and you can watch it again and again and again. Don't need that one. And I have some Whisper white cardstock, and let's, okay, this is kind of dirty, but I'll use it anyway so it doesn't get on my stamp surface here. So I'm going to put some clouds on here. And this is a cloud stamp from, or cloud die from the Basic Borders stamp set. And it just makes it look a little bit more realistic if we've got some clouds behind these birds. So that gives me a chance to use our Stampin' blending brushes. So I'm just going to tap, tap, tap that. And tap some on here and just come off the edge and add some color to that, just very light. And then you just want to do it some angles and so that it's not all the same. Oh, that doesn't look too good, but let me see what I can do here. I think I've got another one ready to go. That's not too bad. I think that's, I don't know if that's what the clouds look like this afternoon or not. I was out fairly early this morning for an early morning doctor's appointment. And I've been back home since about 9 o'clock, just doing some other things. So I guess that looks pretty good. All right, now I want to add the branch that goes with this. Let's see, let's get rid of this so I don't have black ink all over everything. And grab a soft suede. Now this can be used over and over and over again. I just did this on one of our note cards because it's nice and thick, and then I'll just keep that in the Basic Borders die package. All right, so now I want to take the long branch here so my birds have some place to sit. And what I've noticed lately that there seems to be a little bit more rubber around the edge of some of the stamps. I don't really want to trim them, but I am going to grab my chamois here and wipe some of that off, because knowing me, it's going to get where I don't want it to go. So it's always a good idea to look at your stamps, because there's quite a bit of rubber left there on that one side. So let's put this here and kind of angle it a little bit. And I need some more. So let's see, I'll just rub that off on my finger. And attach this branch to itself. And my head gets in the way, sorry. Sometimes I get lucky and, oh, that's not too bad. So that the birds can sit on there, since there are two birds. Two birds. And I'm going to make this a thinking of you card. So I will show you in a minute where this thinking of you comes from. And I want to put this down here in the corner. Two birds sitting together, thinking of you. Now, this is from a new set called Go-To Greetings. It's in the annual catalog, and actually it's one that I didn't think that I really needed to have, but I think it's going to become a timeless one. It's from one of our $1 Million Sales Achievers. Thought I had that marked, but I don't. Let me look. Page 26. And the reason for this is, how many times do you look at a stamp set that you have and you just don't have quite the right sentiment, or you want something that doesn't go with that at all? This is a stamp set that's $24. You get 13 cling stamps, which means it's going to have the red rubber. And you have just a note, thank you, happy birthday, and thinking of you in all these different fonts. Very flourishy, if that's a word, flourishy. One that's a little bit more bold, and that's the one that I used here with the thinking of you. and then a very delicate small one for smaller places that you might want to put an image. And then this one also includes hello. So of all the sentiments that you send cards for, I would guess that just a note, thank you, happy birthday, and thinking of you are the ones that you use most often. Of course, we always have congratulations and anniversary and sympathy, but these are the ones that are most used. And then we've got this tiny little hello, just any little card that says hello. So if you're thinking about something that maybe you don't really need, but you should have, that might be it. Okay, let's put this card together. All right, so I do have a little bit of coloring done, but I've not shown the Stampin' Blends in a while. So remember, this is the one that was originally cut out, just the way you'd cut a bird looking the right that way, going to the right. This is the one that I cut out second by stamping on the silicone mat, and there's the other side of it. This would be the original side. This is the back side. So they're going to look at one another. And I have some blends here. Let's see what color. I don't really know birds very well, so I'm not really good at coloring them. I have some friends that are just marvelous with knowing what bird is from the sound that it makes. I'm not one of those people. So I'm going to use some light So Saffron and do the belly of this. And I'm using the brush end. This is an alcohol marker, and that's the reason that I use the Memento ink, because it doesn't bleed. So that's the light. Here's the dark. And Stampin' Up! Always gives us areas where you can make something a little bit darker to give it that shading that we all like. So there we've got that. And then this was the part that I wasn't quite sure of, but I grabbed Pale Papaya. That's one of our in colors for the chest here. So maybe I'm creating my own new little bird. Anybody have any idea what this one might be? Because I don't know. Let's do the dark one. Now, the reason these are so hard to pull apart is because they are alcohol and they will dry. You want to make sure that you put that lid back on pretty fast and don't let them sit. So I gave him a little V-neck there, just to make it a little bit better, I guess. And I'm going to use Pale Papaya for his claws and his beak. And then use some crumb cake for the rest of the body. Okay, brush end. Okay, the brush end is good when you're filling in a larger area, and then you can go back and add more shading to it with the dark. So I love coloring with these. They might make life a lot easier when coloring is involved. Let's go with the dark one. Kind of looks like a finch. Okay, I can go with that. I did another one, which I will, I think, pair with this one. So let's add some dark, where I made it more yellow. Of course, I do know what a robin looks like, and I hear birds in my yard a lot, but I don't pay much attention to them. Okay, and you know you can mix colors too. So I can take this So Saffron and go over the Pale Papaya and get a different color as well. So that works. And then let's do one more thing. And I'm not going to make you watch me color another bird because I have one already done. Okay, and he needs a blue eye. Okay, so here we go. Let's put those away. And here's another one that I did. So he's a little bit more yellow. So I don't know really what he is, but he doesn't have the orange belly. I didn't give him an orange belly. So let's put this on the card. And I do need to color that branch. I always get the wrong end. So we want the brush end. There we go. So they're up in the sky looking at each other. So somebody's saying, thinking of you. Let's add some dimensionals to the back of that. So here we are. Last week we had 4th of July and now we're almost to the middle of July. I can't believe how the time is flying. But I had a busy week last week. I'd made up my mind that I was going to work in the room that didn't get new flooring in it, and I kind of made a pact with myself to get it done. So it's about 90% there. Got lots of things to throw away. Now, remember, that was the bird that was the backside of this. And so alcohol markers do bleed through, and you want to make sure that you have something underneath before you start coloring. But nobody will ever know how you did it. All with one stamp and one die. So it's magic. So there we go. Thinking of you. And let's close up an ink pad here. Let's fold this. Add this to the front. I think this is a little bit shorter. That's okay. I think I cut it a little bit wrong. That's okay. Add some adhesive to the back. And then I do have all ready to go one of the sentiments that comes from the stamp set, no matter the season, I'm here for you. So summer, fall, winter, or spring. So I have that ready to go on the inside. Thanks, Carol. Now I have one more little trick for you if you want to stick around. So I have something to stick around to the end for. So there's an envelope. I would decorate the envelope later. So let's say that you don't have a die or a punch, or you don't want to use a die or a punch to go with this and make this happen. How can you make this happen? So I'm going to, wherever I put my stamparatus, here we go. How do we do the same thing with just a stamp looking at one another? Thanks. Thank you, Sue. Okay, let's clean this, and you'll see how beneficial having this craft mat is. I want to clean this off, make sure that it doesn't have any ink on it. And okay, so I'm either going to need to change the paper or the bird. So let's clean the bird. And when using the stamparatus, this is what you typically do anyway. Okay, put your paper there. Where you want that to go. And then put your plate over to pick it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if I can get my brain together here to remember what I did this morning. Okay, I'm going to stamp this, and I'm not going to do any coloring or anything. I'm just showing you something a little bit different of how we can just take two images and put them facing one another. If you don't have a die or don't want to use a die or a punch, okay, so now we've got that going that way. Okay, so now I'm not going to move anything. I'm going to just ink up that bird again. Stamp it on my silicone mat. And because it's going on the mat, I like to give him two swipes with the ink. Okay, now let's see if I can move something so that you're not getting so much glare here. So now more magic, but a little bit different kind of magic. I'm going to take this out of here. That's got wet ink on it. And I don't want to get that all over my stamparatus. And now I can turn this over, and you can see that this is translucent enough that I can, let's get that out of there, that I can see where this is going to go and line that up so that they're pretty close to each other. And laying that down, let's grab a block. So this becomes almost like a photopolymer stamp. I think it'll be okay without putting any kind of under it. Okay, let's cross our fingers and see if that works. Wow. There you go. So now they're looking at each other, no cutting needed, and then you could color it just like that, okay? Maybe it's not exactly positioned right, but you could just make that a card with like deer looking at each other or dogs or fish or whatever. So yes, you can just use your silicone mat with ink on one side, turn it over, and with good looking through, you can see where that's going to go. So that is your tip for the day. And I hope you enjoyed watching this magic. It's magic. So I will see you next week. Oh my goodness. What's the date next week going to be? The 17th? Something like that. So let's see the card that we've got here. Here's today's card. Let's see. Are we losing? There we go. I think. And here's another one that I did. So we've got the two cards, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next week. It looks like I'm losing a little bit of my connection here. So